Lights up, cameras roll, stats in the fold. Kyle and Erik got the game on control. Daily grind, strategy defined. DFS huddle, money on the line. Huddle up, breaking it down. Big plays, big wins, all over town. Kyle and Erik, the duo supreme. DFS hustle, living the dream. Line up, huddle up, breaking it down. Big plays, big wins, all over town. Kyle and Erik, the duo supreme. DFS hustle, living the dream. Lineups tight, numbers ignite. Analytics sharper than a game day fight. Stacks on stacks, no time to relax. DFS huddle, we dropping the facts. Feel the heat, the picks elite. This the show where the sharp minds meet. Play so bold, they'll leave you stunned. Huddle's the spot where the money's won. Huddle up, breaking it down. Big plays, big wins, all over town. Kyle and Erik, the duo supreme. DFS hustle, living the dream. Huddle up, breaking it down. Big plays, big wins, all over town. Kyle and Erik, the duo supreme. DFS hustle, living the dream. This the DFS huddle, don't miss a beat. Kyle and Erik, where the game geeks meet. Cash lines hit, top of the slate. Tune in now, before it's too late. DFS huddle, don't miss a beat. Kyle and Erik, where the game geeks meet. Cash lines hit, top of the slate. Tune in now, before it's too late.
There we go. That really gives you time to prepare that intro.
Yeah,
And you forget that your mic is
nice. Nice.
I really like it. Welcome to the DFS Huddle. I want to say what up to Dixon Sider. Thanks for coming in and watching Sports Facts. We appreciate all of you watching. Wherever you're watching, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Needed 2 more yards from quorum. Dude, we're dealing with college football right now. These motherfuckers in the bowl game. I'll tell you what. I don't know how to – if someone out there could tell me where to go so that I know that these assholes are just going to sit Cortez Broham Jr. on the sideline except playing for one play. Or I hope they're not getting any gambling money. But college football season's upon us. We got DFS for tomorrow. We're going to start off with the 2-game slate for tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll move on to the Sunday slate and talk all the plays on that. But please like, subscribe if you want all of our DFS plays, our bets, what we're doing, our cores, all that stuff. Click the link. Come join the Patreon, $15 a month. We appreciate that. You're not in a Walker jersey after last night. Kenneth Walker, your boy.
I should be wearing one.
So I had a great night. As you know, the Guillotine League that you run, I'm in the top 3, and Puka Nacua went ahead and really helped me get into next week into the final. So I feel really good about the 40.5 from Puka Nacua. Weirdest game. What do you make? Like the Seahawks, I'm a Niners fan, right? So I do not like the Seahawks. Are my least favorite team in the whole Seahawks, Packers, my 2 least favorite teams. But the way they won, and it's actually good for the Niners, they won. Very weird, very strange. What do you make of that?
I just think one team has Matt Stafford as a quarterback, and I think I trust that team more than I trust the team that won that has Sam Darnold. I mean, it was a real fluke. Yeah. I thought the game was over. They got that punt return. And then kind of flipped it. Like after that punt return, you're like, oh shit, Rams couldn't, extend the clock, shrinking the game. Got to give props to the Seattle for scoring. You need to remember though, the Rams didn't have Adams and they rely on Adams a lot. It wasn't a short week in Seattle. I'm not going to take that much away.
They're the first team ever, I think, to throw or have 500 yards of offense, win the turnover margin by 3 and still lose a game.
Yeah,
it's fluky.
It's fluky as hell.
And while I'm glad you brought up shorting the week, because some of the talk this week, as you saw, there's Jason Whitlock, the idiot, he used to be on ESPN, and he got everyone in a stir saying that, bringing up the fact that this year there's only 5 quarterbacks averaging over 250 yards passing. 2-3 years ago, we had half the league doing that. Yardage is down, et cetera. And he tried to blame black quarterbacks and stuff, when really, when you look at it, this obsession with forward progress in the NFL has brought stats down. So now it's very difficult to get out of bounds. And what happens? The clock runs. So if you looked, I did a little research on this last year. We don't have the numbers yet for this year, but they've been obsessing over this forward progress for the last couple of years, right? Where it's like almost a pot. You have to be shot out of a cannon forward out of bounds to be fucking for the clock to stop. But we're still working in a 3-hour TV window, right? But in 2024, they ran the league ran over 500 or nearly 500 fewer scrimmage plays than they did the year before. So we're seeing fewer plays because the clock is continuing to run, but we're seeing the same amount of TV time. So they're just filling it with commercials and penalties. But when you're running, when each team's running 3, 4, 5 fewer plays per game, you're going to have fewer yards. It's an NFL problem. It's not necessarily the quarterback play. Obviously, too, the pass rush has gotten insane and all that stuff. But I think overall there is, just for me, last night was fantastic. I thought it was the best game to watch of the year. But overall, plays down, right? The NFL's offenses are disappointing. DFS gets a little frustrating, right? We get a lot of touchdowns taken off. It seems like possessions are down because the clock is constantly running. So do we need to change? Do we need to change our approach? Do we need to try to look at teams like maybe Arizona's going to throw it a lot more? Maybe you get more possessions because it's just whoa. It's all right. All the way from Thanksgiving. That was a while ago. Yeah. I'm actually going to make I'm making a ham tonight for the Jake Paul fight.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that was tonight, dude. That's awesome.
So that's tonight. And someone brought it up. The only way this goes more than a minute is if it's fixed. If this is a real legit fight, Anthony Joshua kills him within the first minute. I mean, it's not even remotely close. And I'm not, Jake Paul's worked really hard to become a serious boxer. And I respect all the hard work, but, it should be over in a minute. If it's a real fight, it should be over in a minute. Any thoughts on Jake Paul, Josh? I mean, Joshua outweighs him by 30 pounds. You see the standoff. He's massive. Anthony Joshua's a gold medalist, heavyweight champion. Jake Paul's fought one legitimate boxer. He fought Tommy Fury and lost. Anthony Joshua should absolutely spin his head off his shoulders.
100%, unless, like you said, it's fixed.
Yeah. All right. So let's. Yeah. I mean, I'd say I'm going to watch it because it's on Netflix. Thank you, T-Mobile, for paying for my Netflix. But you know what I mean?
T-Mobile's great like that, man. T-Mobile.
I love T-Mobile.
Great, dude.
Dude, I got to still fill out my thing. They're going to give me AAA for a year. I got Apple TV.
You get the MLB stuff too. It's
the MLB stuff. I love T-Mobile. I just switched last month.
Fucking love T-Mobile.
Switched last month. So again, subscribe. If you have start-sit questions, fantasy playoffs this week, we know that. Get your start-sit questions in there. DFS questions. If you need relationship help, marriage on the rocks, I'm your guy. Need help with your dating life? I know we talk about your dating life often as I live vicariously through you.
So me and the new little friend, we had a huge disagreement. Okay.
Ooh, little friend.
Okay. My statement is this: listening to an audiobook doesn't mean you read the book.
Of course it doesn't.
Exactly.
And why would you want to read it anyways? Reading is for squares. Exactly. Horrible.
Exactly.
It's horrible. So yeah, I mean, she was arguing with you about that?
Yeah, I was like, if you listen to an audiobook, you're not reading the book, you're listening. It's like listening to the fucking radio. Like you're not doing
my real advice on that I probably can't give on the air. But I'll have to message that to you. But please subscribe, get your questions in there. Let's go to the Saturday games. We got 2 games tomorrow. 4 quarterbacks. Obviously, no Jaden Daniels, so it's Mariota for the Eagles. Divisional games, huge game, Green Bay, Chicago. Obviously, Hurts is ranked 1. He's the most expensive. He's going to be the highest owned. I would have him ranked number 1. The real question for me is who's the pivot? Do we take a shot on Mariota? Is it Jordan Love who put up 20 just a couple weeks ago in this matchup? Bears without Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, more complement weapons probably for the Packers. So I think I do this Hurts 1, Jordan Love 2, then Caleb, then Mariota with some rushing upside. What do you think here?
Looking at Jalen Hurts, 175-3, 39 rushing attempts. His average in road games is 221 yards and 1 TD in the air, 6 for 21 on the ground, has 4 tutties, 3 rushing in the last meeting. Important to know the Commanders have allowed the 10th most points to quarterbacks for the last 6 weeks. When we look on the flip side, the Eagles have allowed the 6th fewest points to quarterbacks over the last 6 weeks. Mariota did lose a fumble, 43 yards rushing, has run for 40 yards in 3 straight. I don't know. Do you trust Mariota against this Eagles defense? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Jordan Love had 2 tutties last week, has 15 touchdowns and 3 picks on the road. Just 2 weeks ago, had 3 touchdowns and 234 yards against this Bears team. Then Caleb Williams, 242 and 2 last week, has 8 touchdowns in his last 4 games, but he has yet to hit 250 yards in 6 straight games. Last time, he only had 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 TD. That game was really weird because the Packers were dominating that game for the first half. Then it's like they kind of took their foot off the gas and allowed the Bears to get back into it. Now, I know Soldier Field is going to be rocking, but it's hard for me to trust Caleb Williams arguably playing in the biggest game of his NFL career.
Yeah, and when we look at the weather, it's a lot windier. It's kind of your neck of the woods, right? I don't know how close you are to Soldier Field, but it looks like the wind's going to be a factor. Winds gusts over 20, steady wind of 60 miles an hour in Washington. Less so. Obviously, the play's Jalen Hurts. It's just, please don't screw us, Jalen Hurts. The NFL is weird. Tomorrow, Marcus Mariota, 2 rushing touchdowns, breaks the slate, and we're all fucking pissed, right? And the Eagles do have trouble stopping the run. So there is a little bit of that, but for me, it's Jalen Hurts. Before we go to the running backs here on the Saturday slate, got a couple questions. Wan'Dale Robinson, or I'm assuming that's Jaden Reed for Green Bay. So he's got the better matchup. We talked about the weather, though. The Giants are facing the Vikings. It's a tough matchup. It's in New York. Let me check the weather in that game. That game's got a chance of snow. 39 degrees chance of snow and windy. And the Vikings are the number 1 defense in terms of fantasy points against quarterbacks. Receivers are very difficult. So I probably lead, even though here's how I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be on the field and he's the number 1 receiver for that team. So there's that. Jaden Reed, it is a little bit better. No, not yet. Sorta. We're getting there. So that one's a tough one for me. I'd probably lean Jaden Reed because I don't love the snow in that Giants game. But it's not going to be a lot better tomorrow either. Matchup wise, I guess I lean Jaden Reed.
I lead Reed. Watson's going to be
Christian
out.
Watson. Is Watson going to be out? Because I know he's practicing all week and he said he's going to play.
Oh, I say the thing I read on Twitter yesterday said it looked like he wasn't going to play. But if he goes,
so yeah, we don't know. Yeah.
The thing with the Packers is it's so hit and miss. Who's going to be the dude? Who's going to be the guy that goes to? So
Dobbs, Golden, So I agree.
The other question, Jesus, choose 2.
Let's get to this one. So this one's choose 2. So Chase Brown in. I love that matchup against Miami.
No brainer.
Yeah, Chase Brown in. I don't think Woody Marks is going to play. I don't know if he practiced
doesn't look
today.
like Woody Marks was going to play.
Michael Carter, fuck no. Javonte Williams, we're still wondering if he's going to. I know he's been a little bit questionable.
But I mean, Carter's the only game, and it's against the Falcons, and that's the way to beat the Falcons is on the ground.
They're just gonna throw it. The Falcons through the air, so they are now 4th best matchup quarterbacks adjusted fantasy points allowed.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, they're moving up that board. I think you could throw on them too, but I would say Javonte Williams, Chase Brown. That would be my choice. Mm-hmm. If Woody Marks was 100%, maybe then we would go there. But and I want to say thanks to everyone watching. Nearly over 100 people live right now watching. Wherever you're watching, please like, subscribe. You want to join the Patreon, get all of our DFS lineups, all that shit. Click the link. Join that below. You got questions? Start, sit. You want our opinions? Put the question in there. We'll get to that. So we're still talking the Saturday 2-game slate, and we'll get to the Sunday slate after this. It's going to be a little bit longer of a show.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's cool with that. So running back. Now I have not seen the Friday practice report for the Packers, but it looks like we're doing this game time decision thing with Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
If he plays, sure, absolutely. We just saw him be successful. Saquon at the top. There's going to be a lot of Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley in your Saturday lineups. It's going to be super chalk, and I think you've got to do that. I love this question right here. I can't wait to get to that question. When we get to the Sunday slate, we will get to this one. Old man betting sport. I love that quarterback question. We're going to talk about both quarterbacks, so put a pin in that one. Don't let me forget. What do you like at running back Saturday slate? Swift, banged up. I think he's going to play. Jacobs, we don't know. Looks really the Eagles are the team you want to run against. It looks like Chris Rodriguez is back, but how are they going to work the backfield? Is it going to be Bill Krosky-Merritt? Is it going to be Chris Rodriguez? I don't know. Emmanuel Wilson looks like the value to take if Jacobs is out. A lot of question marks. This is why I don't really know today. We won't know until Jacobs is announced tomorrow, until some of this stuff's announced to tomorrow. So that's why I come check out the Patreon. Appreciate everyone watching. 130 people watching live right now, Erik. Appreciate it.
Saquon Barkley, 22 for 78 and a tutty, 14 in the air last week. He's averaging 3 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns in the last 7. The Commanders have allowed the second most points to running backs per game the last 6 weeks. He does have a stinger. I think a guy that could get a little run if this game does go in the way the point spread is predicting with the Eagles blowout. Tank Bigsby, 17 runs last week, 57 yards, had 2 touches. But if this game gets to a blowout, Tank Bigsby is going to get some run. Like him, if you think that's the way the game script's going to be. You mentioned Josh Jacobs. I absolutely love Josh Jacobs. He's run for 70 yards in 5 of his last 6, had 86 yards on 20 carries and a touchdown the last meeting. He scored in 3 straight games. Like, look, if he plays, to me, this is the absolutely no-brainer, the guy you want on your rosters. Obviously, the Commanders, I think it's great to run against the Eagles, but you hit the nail on the head. We don't know what's going on with Rodriguez. We don't know what's going on with JCM. We have no idea what's going on with any of those guys. So I want to you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like the Packers wide receiver. You don't know, and I don't want to blindly glass. I like DeAndre Swift, 18 for 98 and a catch. Last week has gone for 98 yards and a touchdown in 2 of his last 3. He's averaging 16 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown in the last 3 games. I think this game is going to be more of a grinded out on the ground type of game on Saturday night down here in Chicago. So I definitely like DeAndre Swift. I like him more than Kyle Monangai a lot.
Yeah, and both of them in the last game, just a couple weeks back, double-digit fantasy points in this game. Swift could be more involved in the passing game, right, with Odunze and Luther Burden both out. So right now, I know we want to play Jalen Hurts. Oh, shocker, that's chalk. But I think sometimes you just have to play the good fucking chalk. You know, I don't love it, but it is what it is. And honestly, I would say the pivot is probably go to the cheap way and go Mariota the other way. Let those two battle it out in Soldier Field. And then Saquon Barkley, you want to have both of them. I'm going to have the max 4 Eagles for sure. I feel like having the 4 Eagles and picking which 4 do you go Saquon, Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, or do you go Goddard, A.J. Brown, Goddard, Devontae Smith? You can only have 4, right? You got to pick your 4 Eagles. And if you try to play the Eagles defense, that's going to get tricky as well against Washington. You can't really do that. So lineup construction is going to be interesting. I will have my top projected ones with my player pool, all the projections. I'll have that up in the Patreon as well. Screenshot I run it through the optimizer. We'll have all of that as well. Running back's going to be tough. I think the sleeper, like the sneaky sleeper guy, is probably Chris Rodriguez. I think I could see him getting into the end zone. Eagles have really struggled against the run. Jalen Carter's gone. So a lot of that stuff. Here, let's answer this question. We're going to get to the Sunday slate. Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew? I'm starting Jacoby Brissett in the Geet. There's 3 teams left. Yeah. I'm the number 1 team left. I think we would all agree, right? And
100%.
And I'm starting, and I have my choice of, I benched Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson. I have my choice of all these guys. I'm playing Jacoby Brissett. But in DFS, real quick, sorry. Yeah. We're going to talk about stacks. You saw I put an article up in the Patreon talking about top stacks. Gardner Minshew, sneaky. It's a great matchup. The Titans are a leaky faucet when it comes to fantasy points against opposing quarterbacks. I believe they've given up 24 and 5 straight, something like that. So they're I like both, but honestly, the consistency indoors against the Falcons, at home, give me Jacoby Brissett. Just volume. They're going to throw the ball a ton, the Cardinals are.
He's been a machine since he took over. I mean, this offense looks completely different. Marvin Harrison could be coming back. Adds another thing. This Falcons defense, I think, is a little bit overvalued. I don't think they're as good as people think. Flip side, though, with the Chiefs, if the Chiefs show up, and we don't know if the Chiefs are going to show up because this is going to be the first time in God knows how long since they're not making the playoffs. What is their drive going to be? If they show up, the Titans can stop the run. Ever since the bye, they've been sneaky good. They're allowing less than 100 yards per game on the ground, which is absolutely huge for Minshew in the passing game. So I think they're both viable in DFS, but in season long, I go Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Jacoby Brissett quite a bit. And then we get to the wide receivers. This is where you got to decide: do you want one or both of the Eagles' top targets? Washington allows the seventh most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Are terrible on the outside. This should be easy pickings in the secondary. Now we know Jalen Hurts can make it look difficult sometimes. So you want those Eagles receivers, and then it's what do we do after that? I would, in a vacuum, I would love to have Christian Watson. I don't know how healthy he's going to be, but you start getting down here to the Jaden Reeds. I love Jaden Reed. And my big question to you, what do we do with the Bears? I think Olamide Zaccheaus is certainly a value play with no Luther Burden tomorrow, someone to keep an eye on. There may not be any Colston Loveland too. So a guy deeper down the list, I just want to throw it out there for tournaments. Devin Duvernay, I know, but I'm telling you, he's going to be on the field. And it's just one of those fucking things. What do we do with Packers receivers here? And what do we do with the Bears receivers here? DJ Moore especially. DJ Moore can get you 40, he can get you 0. It's very frustrating.
I mean, and when you look at it, the Packers, they have allowed the 9th most points to wide receivers per game the last 6. Now we know Odunze isn't playing. Burden's out too, correct?
Yeah, Luther Burden's out. No Odunze, no Luther Burden.
I mean, I think that Duvernay is a phenomenal pay down option. DJ Moore, he's so hit and miss. Like, he's gone 4 for 60 and 2 touchdowns in 2 of his last 4, both at home. But he's been under 20 yards in 4 of his last 6. Like, you know what I mean? He's the boomer bust type guy. He's either going to get you 2 tutties or he's going to get you 20 yards and you're going to be hating life. With that being said, if you like this passing game of the Bears, you're better off just playing Caleb Williams, not trying to guess who the F is going to get the production. Just play Caleb Williams and look the part, and then you don't have to worry about it. In terms of the Packers, Jalen Reed, he missed practice because of a personal reason. I could not figure out what this personal reason was. He did
Today?
I wrote Wednesday.
Okay.
He has 1 score in his last 3 games, which he has finished, went 4 for 31 and 2 for 22 on the ground in the last meeting. And that was the thing. If Jacobs doesn't go, they're going to get Jalen Reed in more of a Deebo Samuels type role in the backfield. So if Josh Jacobs doesn't go, I would be a little bit more invested in Jalen Reed. If Josh Jacobs does go, I would not be invested in Jalen Reed at all. You mentioned Christian Watson. He was practicing earlier in the week. He's been under 60 yards in 5 of his last 7, but he has gone 4 for 89 in 2 straight meetings against the Bears. Bears really don't have anyone that could defend the deep ball, and that's what Christian Watson brings to the table. And then what about Romeo?
He was in the ER. He went to the ER after that game. Christian Watson started practicing. They thought it was broken ribs and shit.
Romeo Dobbs, 2 for 36 last game, had 8 catches for 79 yards in the last 4, did not catch a pass in the last meeting. But the Bears, they're allowing the 10th most points to wide receivers per game in the last 6. Could we see Romeo Dobbs get an uptick in production here after the dud? He did have a couple deep targets, didn't come to fruition, but Romeo Dobbs always on the thing. You mentioned the Eagles wide receivers. I'm kind of out on Devontae Smith. He had 2 for 50. He's been under 55 yards in 3 straight games in 4 of the last 5.
Isn't that why? Isn't that why?
Yeah, I know.
He's going to go off. Isn't that why he's going to go off this week? Because, right, like that. Isn't that just? I think you have to play multiple lineups and at least just in case, right? Because you don't want to be. You know how it goes. AJ Brown's been the squeaky wheel getting the oil, right? Squeaky wheel gets the oil, but he's been getting a lot of oil, and I feel like Devontae Smith might be like.
I mean, you look at him; he has a touchdown or 6 catches in 5 straight. Speaking to AJ Brown, he's averaging 6.6 catches, 86 yards, 0.8 touchdowns in the last 5. He's gone 6 for 100 in 3 of his last 4. Gone 6 for 95 and a touchdown in 2 straight. Has scored in 5 straight meetings. I mean, you are right. Like, is this a time where they are going to look to Devontae Smith? They are going to go to Devontae Smith. So that's definitely a thought process. And don't forget about Scary Terry. 3 for 69 and a tutty last week. He's gone for 3 and 50 in 3 of his last 4. He scored in 2 straight games against the Eagles. I'll tell you what, the one thing that Mariota does is he will take shots with McLaurin and will get McLaurin the ball better than Daniels does.
Yeah, kind of got saved by the long touchdown. One other guy. So the couple of Packers, Matthew Golden, Dontavian Wicks. Dontavian Wicks also questionable. The Packers are really making this different. We haven't even got to Sunday yet. Fuck, we're 30 minutes in. Yeah. 230 people watching. I appreciate my boy Kenny. If you guys are coming over, my boy Kenny tweeted it out. I appreciate you guys watching, giving us a chance. Please like, subscribe, get your questions in there, all that good stuff. We appreciate you. Wide receivers tricky. Keep an eye on the injury reports tomorrow. We'll have them up on our Twitters. Adam Schefter will, whatever, however you want to do it. Keep an eye on that and then sort of act accordingly. But I'm with you. Jaden Reed standing out. I think there's going to be more points Washington, Philly than there's going to be Bears, Packers. So coming back with Washington with Terry McLaurin, I want nothing to do with Deebo Samuel, but I would consider some Terry McLaurin and some deep sleepers. If you're building 150 lineups, 100 lineups, you're looking for, deep touchdown sleepers. Guys like Devin Duvernay is going to see some extra work with the two receivers out. Dontavian Wicks, maybe a guy like Cole Kmet, and one guy for Washington, he's boom or bust, Treylon Burks, just throwing it out there.
Wow.
Olamide Zaccheaus is going to be a decent value play. I think Olamide Zaccheaus is going to play a ton of snaps, short passes. He's going to sort of do that Amon-Ra role for Ben Johnson. Luther Burden's been doing it the last few weeks. Olamide Zaccheaus is a good value play as well. Let's get to the tight ends. Colson Loveland's fine. I don't know why Bears fan. Colson Loveland, Dallas Goedert. So the Washington allows the third most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. We'll get to this question, by the way, Dante, here in just a second. We'll get to that wide receiver question for you as well. But this is the problem, right? So you want to play Hurts, you want to play Barkley, you want to play the receivers. Then you've got this great matchup at tight end for Dallas Goedert as well, but you can't play 5 Eagles. You can only play 4. Colston Loveland, love that. Luke Musgrave, I'm in. And then if Cole Kmet plays, he's a full participant yesterday. If you're looking for a little value to save some salary, Cole Kmet still playing 70% of the offensive snaps, 10 targets over the last 3 weeks, 20 DraftKings point or FanDuel points rather over that same stretch. For some value, I would consider some Cole Kmet, deep sleeper touchdown guy at this position. Possibly John Bates plays a ton of snaps, but again, they don't go to him very often. What do you think here at tight end, Erik?
Well, dude, this is completely off subject, but I have some great news for you because you and I were talking about NBA DFS. NBA is changing the injury reporting rules. Teams are now required to submit injury listings on game day, 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. local time.
Yeah, I mean, they've been better about it's usually 30 minutes before you find out, right, with the NBA. So a little bit more time. We will be. Stay tuned in here. Subscribe. We're going to start once Christmas. We'll have a Christmas NBA DFS slate show. We're going to be pumping out NBA DFS, which can be a wild ride and a very exhausting ride.
That's easier. That's easier for us.
Yes,
if someone's got something.
Dude, when I first started doing this DFS, doing daily NBA shows, you couldn't even late swap. So if a guy got ruled out in the late window, you couldn't take him out. You just had to take the 0. We fought for years to get that. A lot of shitty tweets to FanDuel and DraftKings. We finally got it done. What do you think at tight end? I got Goddard ranked 1. Loveland 2.
By far. Goddard by far. He dropped the TD right in his hands at the goal line. He did have 7 targets, 6 catches, 70 yards, 2 TDs, but he only did run 15 routes on 51 snaps. Was his first score in 6 games. He has gone 5 receptions and 60 yards in 2 straight meetings against the Commanders, and they are allowing the Commanders the 6th most points to tight ends per game over the last 6 weeks. I like Colston Loveland a lot here, especially with the injuries to the wide receivers for the Bears. He had 63 yards on 5 targets and 4 receptions last week, 21 routes on 43 snaps. In his last 4, he's averaging 4 catches and 55 yards. So I'm really enticed with Loveland, and that's it. I don't want anything to do with the Commanders. I don't want anything to do with Luke Musgrave. For me, it's Loveland or Goddard. You're either going to pay out for Goddard or I
think Cole Kmet's a sleeper down there too. You could play Cole Kmet for some salary saving as well.
That's true.
If he plays again, you got to decide: are you going to go Hurts, Barkley, 2 wide receivers, Hurts, Barkley, 1 receiver, Goddard? How are you going to get your 4 Eagles in? So your lineups. That's how I'm going to start my core of my lineups, and then build out from there, depending on how many we make. Let's get to this question before we get to the defenses real quick. Devontae Smith or DJ Moore? I want to wait on Higgins, but it seems risky. Yeah, I'd love to play T. Higgins against the Dolphins, but there's Devontae Smith and DJ Moore. Quite literally, it's exact They can get you 4 or 34. And I would say DJ Moore's receiver 1 this week, right? For the Bears, clear receiver 1. So that's advantage him there. In terms of probably total and matchup, it's advantage Devontae Smith. I'm going to lean Devontae Smith for whatever reason. I just have a feeling it's going to be they're going to get him the ball a little bit, reward him. He's a great player. I'm sure they don't. He's standing over there looking at all. It could be a feed the ball to Devontae like a Jameson Williams for Detroit situation. So I'm going to lean Devontae Smith, but to me, it's about even. What do you think?
I would probably go Devontae Smith too. I just kind of trust the game a little bit more. I think the Packers are going to give. It's hard for me to trust Caleb Williams when you look at his production over the last 4 games.
Completely agree. Now let's get to the defensive spot. So we just talked about. So the Eagles are the most expensive. It's the best matchup, backup quarterback, the whole deal. But again, if you're playing the Eagles defense, which offensive player are you sacrificing? And is the point differential worth it? I probably won't have Eagles defense. That's just me. I'm going to be focusing on the offensive players. I think the defense I want, probably the Bears. They're just turnover hawks. They find a way to get to the ball. So I lean the Bears, even though they're not a very good defense here for DFS, but I like the upside. The Packers losing Micah Parsons, I think, hurts their upside a little bit. The strip sacks, the fumbles. I think for points, Peanut Tillman Bears causing turnovers, possibility for a defensive touchdown. They're at home. Yeah. I'll take that.
I think that game's going to be the defensive struggle. I definitely like your thinking there. I would probably go for the Packers, though, just because I think they are going to be under-owned because of the Parsons news. Chicago has the biggest differential in turnovers. They are due for some turnover differential plays. I mean, Williams had that play last week where he was rolling out to his right, threw off his back foot, went through 2 Browns players' hands, and DJ Moore caught a touchdown. The turnovers are coming for the Bears. You know what I mean? There's going to be a run where they go on these turnovers because they're plus 15, most by the league by far. I'd probably go Packers 1, Bears 2, then I'd probably go the Eagles 3, and the Commanders a distant.
I got 2 things kicking my ass. Sports Facts wants to know, you Bears, we saw this. Are they going to move to Indiana? They can't do that, right?
It's the funniest thing in the world. Indiana passed a thing where it would be insanely cheap for them to do it. Like making it dirt cheap, go right across the border, right next to the Hard Rock Casino down there. I would think it would be hilarious if they did that. I don't think they're going to do it. The plan that makes the most sense, it's most economical, is there was a proposal to just add a dome onto Soldier Field.
Yeah, why not?
And then that way they would be able to host a Super Bowl. Because
I might just be whatever. I know a lot of people don't agree with this. I think every stadium should have a retractable roof. I don't want to see like a high stakes playoff game played where the guys can't move or catch it because of the fucking elements. Personally, I'm a fantasy football player. I want points. I want action. I don't want to see guys fucking dying out there. Ice bowl. I'm good on all that. All right, let's get to Sunday. We'll try to wrap this up. We spent 30 minutes on Saturday.
Yeah.
275 people watching live right now. Really, really appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. If you got questions, get them in there. You need me to save your marriage? Obviously, you talk to the divorce guy who can't, who dates strippers and has horrible. I'm really good at fixing other people. So, just let you know. I give great advice. All right. What do you like at quarterback this week? There's some good matchups at the top. The ones I want to hear your opinion on. Justin Herbert with that matchup, but with that hand and the low outputs lately. We talked Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew against the Titans. In his last start, Gardner Minshew played the Titans, started for the Colts back in the end of 2023. 312 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Could be no Rashee Rice, could be a little Minshew, Xavier Worthy stack. Kelsey announced he will play the last 3 games. What do you think here? I think J.J. McCarthy in the snow, the running upside against the Giants, Gardner Minshew for value. And I'm looking Brissett in the middle. Up top, outside of Josh Allen, I'll pass. What do you think?
Oh, my God. So I'll just quickly run through us. Mentioned Jacoby Brissett, the Falcons allowing the 5th most points to quarterbacks over the last 6 weeks. Kirk Cousins, 373 and 3 tutties last week against the Bucs. Now he's going indoors to play the Cards, who are allowing them 9th most fantasy points to quarterbacks per game over the last 6. Also, hear me out. Hear me out, dude. The Bengals have been awful. They've allowing the 7th most points to quarterbacks per game over the last 6 weeks. Quinn Ewers is getting the start. He's going to push the ball downfield more in a tournament type setting.
Do you think he'll push it downfield? Because he had a noodle arm in college. He was not.
He's going to throw it. That's the thing. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be soft. He's going to throw it down. His average depth of target will be more than Tua's was.
And Tua. Well, yeah, I mean, he's not dropping back afraid to die on every play. Tua's been playing this scared forever, as he should.
Jared Goff in a bounce back spot against the Steelers. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in that. You mentioned Herbert not going to go there. Gene Shorts, he is going against the tight ends who have allowed the second most points to quarterbacks per games. In DFS, Gene Shorts, Gardner Minshew is the down option. We got Dak Prescott. When we look at him, my worry point with Dak, I like how he's been playing, and the season has been great. If the Cowboys were making the playoffs, he's going to seriously be in the MVP conversation. But the Chargers have allowed the 4th fewest points to quarterbacks. What about your boy from the Saints, Tyler Shough?
I got him marked. He's marked down.
You know,
the problem is Brissett. The problem is Jacoby Brissett's a little cheap on DraftKings, anyways. On FanDuel, it's a stark difference. So you see the price differences here on DraftKings. For 54, 53, Brissett's a little cheaper. That's easy. I'll take Jacoby Brissett. FanDuel, Shough is 68, Brissett 75. I like the matchup against the Jets. I actually like the Saints defense too. We'll talk about that. I'm playing the Saints defense in Guillotine League this week. That's who I'm playing. That's my defense against the Jets. I like the Saints defense. They're actually underrated. But one other guy in this price range I want to ask you about, CJ Stroud against the Raiders. Probably know Woody Marks, it looks like. They're going to throw it more. Great matchup in the secondary. I ended up benching CeeDee Lamb for Nico Collins this week. I like that passing attack. Titans are on a roll. Another game inside in a dome at home against a bad Raiders defense. I do not like CJ Stroud as a player. I think he stinks. But fantasy upside this week, I think is certainly there.
I'll tell you what. I have a bet in this game on our Patreon page. Click the Patreon link to see what it is. And there's an angle with CJ Stroud against this Raiders defense I don't think many people are pointing out. So I'm going to be away from CJ Stroud.
Ooh, interesting. Very, very interesting. Question here. Audric Estime or Michael Carter? Now, Audric Estime's
they announced him the starter. They announced more.
They did announce him the starter against the Jets. So that's interesting. Whew.
Give me Estime.
I don't know.
You know you want to.
I don't like Michael Carter. I guess.
Come on,
Fuck. It's that's rough sledding, man. That's rough sledding. But yeah, I guess I would say Michael Carter's more established there, but they do the Bam Knight, DeMarcado thing. I don't want to throw it a lot. So yeah, it's gonna be Audric Estime, I suppose.
And the only one there is Evan Hall, who sucks, dude.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that
I mean the worry there is if Taysom Hill is gonna be getting some run. That's
the thing.
Yeah.
If I could go back, if I had a time machine and I could stop one player in history of the game from playing in the NFL and ruining my days, it'd be Taysom fucking Hill. I mean, nothing. Okay. I remember the Drew Brees days. I'm loading up on Drew Brees and Sean Payton, the bastard that he is, rolls out take out Drew Brees and Michael Thomas so Taysom Hill can run some fucking Naval Academy wishbone run. I hate it. With the fire of 1,000 suns, but nonetheless, here we are. All right, let's get to running backs. Now, some matchups you want to exploit. The Jets, we just talked about it. Audric Estime. The Cardinals, Bijan should be in line for a monster day. The Browns, the Raiders, the Bills, the Giants, Washington, who we talked about Saturday, Carolina, the 49ers, the Buccaneers, the Bengals, and the Vikings, all in the green here. These are all matchups you want to exploit. So we got Devon A-Chain at the top, Bijan at the top. I like A-Chain less. I'm worried about that offense. I think Tua just was used to dumping it off to him. I'm not sure it's going to be designed as much toward. Again, it could be. I have absolutely no idea. But love Bijan Robinson, James Cook, and Gibbs at the top. Chase Brown in the middle. What do you got at running back?
You mentioned A-Chain. He has had one game all year where he had under 16 PPR points. Right. I think the offense is still going to run down him. And who knows? I mentioned Ewers may try to chuck it downfield a little bit with his noodle arm. Right. There are going to still be designed passes. And who knows? Maybe McDaniel wants to get him going, gets a couple dump passes going to Agent. This is the Bengals defense. This isn't the world beaters. He's still going to be involved. It still is a run-first team. You mentioned Michael Carter, like him. Great matchup against the Falcons. James Cook, he has 2 grabs in 6 straight games, 12 touchdowns in 14 games. He has gone 17 for 105 in 3 of his last 4. Absolutely love this matchup. And I know it's the Browns defense, but the Browns defense did allow a huge running game to Tony Pollard 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Cleveland defense is 4th in adjusted fantasy points allowed. They're the 4th best matchup to exploit against running backs. Just wanted to throw that out.
Rico down in Carolina. This is a must-win game for him. Now, look, I know he's been under 60 yards in 5 straight. I think they're going to lean on the run game here. I think they're going to look to establish that run game, lean on Rico. The Saints have allowed the 10th most points to running backs over the last 6 weeks. Estimate, if cash games, you pay down for Estimate, he's like 4,500, I believe. That's going to open up
5,000.
5,000. It's going to open up so much salary. Don't forget about Breece Hall. I know Cook had his moments against the Jags. This is going to be a run attack against the Saints defense. I don't think they're going to have Cook try to pass it. Jahmyr Gibbs, he, did not, 13 for 38, 4 for 20 in the air, has 3 scores in 3, but has failed to run for 70 yards in any of his last 3. I think this is the game where we're really going to see Jahmyr Gibbs get established against that Steelers front with no Watt, who's been rolled out. Bucky Irvin. The Panthers have allowed the 7th most yards to running backs over the last 6 weeks. He has gone 20 carries for 110 and 3 catches at 2 straight meetings against the Panthers. Jenkins, the Bills have allowed the 5th most points to running backs over the last 6 weeks. And I know he's only averaging 16 yards and 46 carries with Sanders, but I think they're going to look to get that running game going. Aaron Jones is in a great matchup against the Giants. Woody Marks, if he plays, but that's a big question mark. Tony Pollard, 14 for 104 and a catch, has gone 14 carries and 100 yards in 2 straight games. Tony freaking Pollard making a little playoff play. Definitely like what I see from him again against this Chiefs defense, which has been very lackluster this year. You mentioned Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to go in there. Last one, Javonte Williams, 15 for 91 and a touchdown. Did have that injury, though. It was weird where he left, came back.
I think he's full participant now. I think he's off the injury report now.
Has 5 touchdowns, 4 rushing, and 7 home games. He was practicing earlier this week. I definitely like him. I don't think people are going to look to use him, though, against the Chargers. Could be a little underowned.
Yeah, and keep an eye. The Chiefs' defense has been pretty good, but they could be without Chris Jones this week. That's a huge boon to the Titans' offense if that happens. Bijan's my number 1 on the board this week. Massive matchup, great matchup against the Falcons. Number 2 in adjusted fantasy points allowed to running backs behind only the Jets. Love Bijan. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, you're right. In a dome, beatable secondary. You're going to see him used as a wide receiver. Kind of a dud last week in that Rams game. A lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. They get back to him. I've got Bijan ranked 1. I like James Cook. When you come down a little bit, Chase Brown's going to be involved in the passing game, running game. Listen to his last 5 games on DraftKings. 19, 18, 18, 19, 16. Love me some Chase Brown. You mentioned Bucky Irving. I don't mind it there. I just prefer Chase Brown in that same sort of price range. And then some value guys. Just Omarion Hampton, 15 carries last week against that Dallas defense who we thought was sort of figuring it out against the run. Maybe not so much. So I think he's certainly in play. One guy I want to talk about could be a tournament sleeper. High-scoring game. Kenneth Gainwell. They like to get him on the field a lot. They like to throw it to him a lot. He's cheap, 5,100 DraftKings, 5,800 FanDuel, 7 targets in each of the last 2 weeks. Kenneth Gainwell, to me, is a little bit interesting. Let's move on to wide receivers. Now, when you look at the matchups to beat this week, the Lions defense does suck, but they are allowing the 4th fewest DraftKings points to opposing running backs this year. Just something to keep an eye on. Some matchups to exploit. The number 1 matchup to exploit in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed to opposing wide receivers at 15.9, 5.9 points higher than second, is the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Wilson, that passing game for the Cardinals are in a great spot. The Lions next, Cowboys, Titans, Bears, Colts, Dolphins, and then the Broncos, surprisingly enough, right there by the Giants. So when we look at this, at the top. Amon-Ra St. Brown, coming off an 18-target game. He's in a great spot. CeeDee Lamb looks like he's fine. He's not been practicing all week with an illness. I'm not going to play CD. I actually benched him for Nico Collins. For me, it's Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase in a great spot against the Dolphins in my view. But it's Amon-Ra, Nico Collins, Michael Wilson. Those are the three I'm really focused on this week at the top. And then we get to some more value. Who do you like here at wide receiver?
Chase, absolutely love him. You mentioned Nico Collins has hit 85 yards in 3 straight. Love him. 75 yards in 6 of 7. Double E from the Bucks, Ibuka. Listen to these last 5 games: 9 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets, 7 targets. He leads the Bucks in red zone targets. He hasn't scored a touchdown since November 9th. I think he's due for a touchdown here in this game. Had 64 yards last one. I definitely like him. I think he's going to be under-owned. We don't know what's going on with Drake London. If Drake London doesn't plays, I'll be invested in him. He's gone 6 for 100 in 5 of 6. Now, Justin Jefferson, I have a bet on him in the Patreon. He had a drop, 2 for 22 yards. This offense is broken. But all this stuff is coming out, how O'Connell wants to get him the ball, wants to keep his 1,000-yard streak going. He needs 168 yards to get 1,000. I think he needs 90 yards to set a record for most yards in his first 6 seasons in the league. Against this Jets defense, I think that could happen. I think they're going to look to get Jefferson the ball. He's going to be under loan. Mentioned CeeDee Lamb. Not going to go there. I totally agree with you there. Another one, DK Metcalf. This Lions defense in the back 4 is brutal. They actually emailed me about coming in to play D-back because I'm going to be in Detroit this weekend. Jacoby Myers, he has 5 straight games. They're averaging 63 yards, has scored in 3 of his last 4. Absolutely love Jacoby Myers because Surtain does not travel to the slot, so he's going to have the great matchup. You mentioned St. Brown. Is Rashee Rice going to play with a concussion?
No. So he and Tyquan Thornton both ruled out. Okay. Xavier Worthy is 4,400 on DraftKings against that Titans. Xavier Worthy Gardner Minshew stack.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
If you read the article, I had an article on it on Patreon, but you save a lot. You can really pay it. You can get the Bijan Robinsons. No Rashee Rice, no Tyquan Thornton, so you're going to see him, and you're going to see a lot of Juju Smith-Schuster. Right? Yeah. Is he still there?
He's still there. I got 3 more. Cortland Sutton, 7 for 113, and a tutty. Has gone for 60 and a tutty in 2 of his last 3. At home, he's averaging 70 yards per game. Jamison Williams has been unlocked since Dan Campbell has taken over the offensive play calling. Has gone 7 for 95 in 3 straight. Has gone 4 for 66 in 6 of the last 7, averaging 7.3 targets a game. And if Marvin Harrison doesn't go, obviously Michael Wilson, who's just.
I think even if Harrison goes, give me Michael Wilson. They got something. Harrison's not going to ruin that. Give me Michael Wilson all day. I love it. I agree with all the ones you mentioned. I'm going to no thanks on Justin Jefferson. That game could be in the snow. I'm just over that. A couple of guys with great matchups. No team has allowed more fantasy points to opposing wide receivers than the Cowboys. Ladd McConkey. If Herbert's able to take advantage of this matchup, the hand feeling a little better, I could see that there. Then just some value guys I want to just touch on real quick. I mentioned Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, who's at 3,900. Both of them are going to see a huge bump in target share. I think they're live. And just one other value guy, David Sills. Keep an eye on the Drake London situation. Kirk Cousins loves throwing to David Sills. 10 targets last week. I think David Sills at 3,700. If you're looking for a tournament sleeper, he could be interesting as well. All right. Let's get to tight ends. When we look at that position, some matchups to exploit. The number 1 matchup to exploit, this is going to surprise people in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed, added or subtracted from his opponent. The Denver Broncos, number 1 matchup to exploit. Bengals, number 2. They're historically bad against tight ends. Washington, we mentioned. Arizona, the Buccaneers. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with 40 points last week from Kyle Pitts. The Steelers, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Chargers, Patriots, 49ers, and Falcons rounded out. Obviously, Trey McBride's a beast. He's on the he's going to get a ton of targets. Again, 15 targets or so. Looking down the list, Kyle Pitts looks like he's practicing fully. That's a good matchup. He could save some salary. Heading down the list, maybe Jawan Johnson for the Saints. I keep getting in that trap. What do you think this week?
Jawan Johnson's a good find. He's got some contract incentives. This is the time of year we need to look at some contract incentives. He's got some contract incentives going. He could do something there, especially against that Jets defense. Obviously, McBride's a no-brainer. Obviously, look to target him. The other guys I'm looking to target, Dalton Schultz, 8 for 76 and a tutty, running 30 routes on 53 snaps. He has 6 grabs in 4 of his last 5. At home, he's averaging 4.6 catches and 42 yards, and he scored in 2 touchdowns in his last 3 home games. Darren Waller, obviously, we really don't know what's going to happen with Ewers at quarterback, but this is a tight end against the Bengals, which we all know is an absolute no-brainer. They're allowing the most points to tight ends over the last 6 weeks. Pitts, I'm interested in Pitts if London isn't back. If London is back, I don't really know if I want to be in the Kyle Pitts game. Harold Fannin has a carry, had 14 targets, 7 catches, and 48 yards on 40 routes on 53 snaps, a career high. He has scored a touchdown or caught at least 7 passes in 3 straight games, averaging 68 yards and 6 catches. And he's had 25 targets in the last 2 games. Love him. And look, I'm going to say it. Travis Kelce. The Titans have allowed the 4th most points to opposing tight ends. We don't, obviously, with Xavier Worthy being the number 1 option, I think this is going to be a huge Travis Kelce game. He had 70 yards and 7 catches, 9 targets, 39 routes on 60 snaps. He has had 4 catches in 6 of his last 7 games, averaging 60 yards in that time span. Absolutely love Travis Kelce this weekend.
Yeah, and just a couple of things to add, some value guys to hear down the list. Dawson Knox playing a little over 60% of the offensive snaps, 15 targets over the last 3 weeks, 36 DraftKings points over the last 2 weeks. And TJ Hawkinson starting to get a little bit more involved against the Giants. It's going to be a snow game, middle of the field, shorter passes, $3,000 on DraftKings, $5,200 on FanDuel. I certainly think he's a live option as well. All right, let's get to the defenses, and then we'll make a lineup and get you guys out of here. Appreciate it. Nearly 350 people watching live, which is the most we've had live. Thank you to my boy Kenny. I appreciate you guys supporting us. Like, subscribe, join the Patreon. The link, all that shit is down below. Thank you so much. So obviously the Texans are going to stand out this week, right, against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Bills defense against and what could be a cold game there. I like the Saints. I got the Saints against the Jets and Guillotine. I like that quite a bit. And then it becomes a fall off for me. I sort of look at the Vikings in that snow game against the Giants for some value. What are you thinking overall here defensively? I don't see a lot of cheap options I'm in love with here. I think it's going to be a lot of Texans, Saints, and maybe a little Vikings. What do you think here?
Obviously, I'm intrigued by the Cards against the Falcons. I'm intrigued by
that defense sucks. This defense is bad. My problem is they're going to get put in a spot. So Jacoby Brissett's been good, right? But they throw the ball a lot. So it means extra possessions, more stress on the defense. So that would be my concern.
The Panthers and Bucks, this is a playoff game, so I'm definitely interested in both those defenses. Both of them are going to be in there. Vikings defense against Jackson Dart in the snow. Flores is going to blitz a lot. Dart has been prone to some turnovers. And that's basically it, man. I mean, I agree with the ones you mentioned just on top of that. I mean, the Texans, obviously, $4,000. Bills 3,500. I like those. I wouldn't pay up for the Chiefs or the Broncos or the Lions. Bucks at 3. I like there. I definitely like the Vikings at 28. That's the one to me that sticks out the page the most.
There we go. All right, let's go to the lineup optima. Let's make a lineup here while we're here. Go over it, and as usual, we have you pick the quarterback. I hope you do what's right here. I hope you do it. I hope you do what's right.
What's right?
You get to pick the quarterback. On this show, we're creating a tournament lineup here.
I'm gonna go Gardner Minshew.
That's what I'm waiting to hear. Let's get some Gardner Minshew in here at 4,500. Running back one, I will take Bijan Robinson. I think he has a massive game to do. So we got Minshew, Robinson. Who do you want next at running back?
So you want Robinson, right?
Yeah, I got Bijan in.
I'm gonna go. Ooh. I'm gonna go. Man, I want to do. I don't think we can afford Gibbs. Do you? So I'm gonna go.
We're gonna be saving. Maybe we might be able to.
All right, put in Gibbs for now.
I mean, James Cook, probably Chase Brown, a little cheaper. We could try Gibbs at 8,500. We're over now. So I put Worthy in next at receiver.
You put Worthy.
So we got Xavier Worthy stacked with Gardner Minshew, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. So now we got Nico Collins, Jameson Williams, Metcalf. We got to save some money here. So we need another value receiver. We got to drop 3,400 off of these guys, even though I love Nico Collins this week. So who do you want next at wide receiver?
Right. I'm going to go to the player that leads the Tennessee Titans in red zone targets, DK.
Oh, Chimere DK?
Yeah.
I fucking played that guy last week. He fucking sucks. But okay, how much is he?
We get paid out, dude. He's 4,200.
4,200. Almost like Jaden Higgins instead of Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins against that Raiders.
Yeah.
Secondary in that same, he's sort of in that same slot. But okay, Chimere DK. It is. That saved us a lot of money. We got one more wide receiver here. Pretty interested in Lad McConkey, but let's go something like. Save some salary here from Jameson Williams, whom I do like in that matchup. We could almost get Michael Williams, but we'd have to save. I'm going to go Michael. Very tough. Very tough. I'm having a hard time deciding here who I want in this spot. I don't know if I want to pay up or pay down. All right, so I'm going to put Nico Collins in. And now we need to save 1,200 from Jawan Johnson, DK Metcalf, and Texans D. So who do you want at tight end?
Ooh. Who do they have at tight end right now?
Jawan Johnson.
Let's go Waller.
Darren Waller. Are you sure? He's hardly going to. Really? Okay.
He's against the Bengals. He's against the Bengals.
I know, but they play Greg Dulcich way more than him. He's hardly on the field.
Okay. All right. Let me recalibrate.
Dawson Knox, 3,300. TJ Hawkinson, 3,000. Gunnar Helm, 2,900.
I'll go Gunnar.
Gunnar Helm. So you want two Titans?
No. Fuck, I can't have two Titans. God damn it. Do I get really filthy and go Taysom Hill?
Oh, I'm not putting that on there. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
Well,
how much is Taysom Hill?
2,500.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, let's do it. I actually don't hate it. They're probably going to run him in the red zone a lot.
He's 2,500, dude.
And then all right, we'll do Taysom Hill. Now at the flex, it's got DK Metcalf. We can go up 300 or we can keep DK, and I actually don't mind it. We can go up to Cortland Sutton, Tyrone Tracy, Ginty, Jacoby Myers, huh?
Your call, dude.
Let's just keep DK in there in that matchup against Detroit. So the lineup is Gardner Minshew, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Xavier Worthy, value receiver Chimere DK, Nico Collins, Taysom Hill, DK Metcalf, Texans defense. I think that's a good tournament lineup. Again, we appreciate you guys. Nearly 400 people joined us live today. Shout out to everyone who tweeted it out, shared it, asked your questions. We really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, join, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week. Christmas week, big week. We'll have some NBA next week as well. For myself and Erik, thank you all so much for watching. And, of course, good luck on all your future wagers.